Hi, my name is Emma Spears, and I go to Lake Sumter State College. Music can name the unnameable and communicate the unknowable. This was said by the American composer Leonard Bernstein. What are the correct ways to use the clarinet? Well, today we're going to learn about a brief history about the clarinet so you can learn different parts, what those different parts are, and how to put a clarinet together. I've been in band since 6th grade, so I know quite a lot about clarinets. I've also been playing the B-flat clarinet since then. I have multiple friends that play clarinet, and they're in all different grades, and they know from little knowledge to a lot of knowledge. And I have also been taught by Stetson clarinet professors. The introduction history of the clarinet and how it pertains to playing it and putting it together. The ability to play the clarinet is the ability to overcome the perfections of the instrument. This was said by Jack Brymer, who was a famous English clarinetist. And it's kind of a funny quote because it kind of shows how playing clarinet can be pretty difficult, and you kind of have to learn how to get the instrument to respond to you as a person and you as a player. The clarinet creator was Johann Christoph Lehner. He made the clarinet in about 1698, and he was a German person who basically made instruments, and he wanted to make an instrument that was different from the flute, but also had like a nice woodwind sound. So he made this from like modifying other instruments and kind of making its own entity. Schools with a music program have an estimated 90.2% graduation rate and a 93.9% attendance rate, which shows the major impact of instruments and what it has on a student's education and health. And this was important because it shows why learning about the different parts of the clarinet and like what music you hear and how you can connect it to things in life and who plays the instrument. So here's a photo of Sidney Bechet. He was a famous clarinet player. He played a lot of jazz. And this is important because he was super famous, and this shows the different parts. You have the mouthpiece and the barrel, and that's going to be important for later. Reeds, which is the thing that you saw in his mouth, lasts up to 6 weeks to 6 months. In that range, it depends on the style and the brand, and if it's plastic or a cane reed, which we'll get to that later. The cycle of using reeds is about 2 to 4 weeks. So here's an explanation of the parts. Here's the mouthpiece and the barrel, which is what you put your reed on. Reeds can be either cane, which is made from bamboo cane, which is pretty interesting. They can be synthetic, which is a fancy word for a plastic reed. These are typically used for an outside environment, so I use these in marching band, so I don't ruin my regular reeds from rain, humidity, or other damage from the environment. So, next, on the clarinet going down, you have this, which is your keys. You press down and play different notes. This is E, D, and C, which is basic. And the holes, you have to cover them all the way, which is different than the flute. And here's the other piece. Same piece, just the bottom half. This is the bell that kind of emits the sound and projects it, which goes on the end of the clarinet. So, how do you put the clarinet together? Well, I'll show you. So, first, I'm going to grab a reed, just a cane reed. I normally keep this connected in my case. You'd pull it out of a little case. You want to line this reed up like this. And you kind of want to line it up a little over the top. This helps it emit sound. Once you have it in a good place, which I'll fix now, you will insert it like this. It's just a little ligature. You can get a plastic, or this is like a pleather type, this is better for like a medium player. Like when you're beginning, a other ligature works. And then you're going to crank it down. Let me make sure it's even. You don't want to crank it down too much because that kind of messes up the sound. You want to do it so where it's tight, but not too much. So put that piece aside. Next, you take this piece and you want to put it on here, and you use a thing called cork grease to help get this on. You don't want to be too hard with it. And cork grease kind of looks like chapstick, and it helps. This is cork, and it helps it connect the pieces. So you put that aside. This is the next half. This is your barrel that emits the sound, and you want to do the same thing you did before, not being too harsh. This needs a little bit of cork grease. And then you connect the two parts. It's the same thing. This part, you just need to be careful and not break anything. And you want to line this up so the playing is better. So, now that the clarinet's put together, you know how to make a clarinet. And I thought one of these quotes was super cool, And it said, when I play the clarinet, I am 100% myself. And this kind of shows how playing an instrument helps people tap into their creativity. This was said by Annette Cohen, which is a well-known jazz clarinetist. Well, today we learned the introduction on the clarinet and its history, the different parts of the clarinet, such as the reed, the ligature, or the barrel. And we also learned how to put together the clarinet and putting the multiple parts, which takes a lot of time. Music will always be a passion of mine and something that I'm super passionate about and I love to talk about. I hope to teach people clarinet history or how to put it together so the legacy of clarinet players can live on.